if the Patriots or if Bill Belichick was going to make a trade, then in my honest opinion, he should have traded N'Keal Harry and not Stephon Gilmore. And that's what I want to talk to people about in this video, because I think that Bill Belichick trading Stephon Gilmore was one of the most boneheaded decisions he could have ever made, because Stephon Gilmore for the past, I have to say 4 years, for the past, mainly 3 years, he was our best defensive back. Okay, he's the best player we've had on our secondary, possibly in a very long time, besides Malcolm Butler and all that stuff. And what I've noticed about the Patriots, a secondary, in the last, I have to say, 4 years, is that Bill Belichick finally got good at getting us good cornerbacks, okay? Because, you look at J.C. Jackson, I think right now he's the best player on our secondary, even though today he didn't have his best game because he was absolutely just, getting burned almost all game long by Stephon Diggs. And the thing about Bill Belichick is that sometimes some of the moves he makes make you really question on what he's exactly trying to do. Because I look at the Stephon Gilmore trade now, and in hindsight, the Stephon Gilmore trade was one of the dumbest decisions Bill Belichick could have ever made. It's like trading him for a 6th-round pick was pretty freaking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but if Bill Belichick was going to trade somebody, then he should have traded N'Keal Harry, because I don't know what happened with N'Keal Harry, but out of the 40s, because I read a statistic on Twitter, and he's been targeted so far 98 times in his career, and, out of the 47 times he was targeted, I think, out of the 47 times he was targeted, it was either an interception, a forced fumble, or an incomplete pass. So my thing is this: I don't know what happened with N'Keal Harry, but my biggest thing about N'Keal Harry is this. What I've noticed about him is that he can't create any separation from the defenders, okay? Because the thing about the Patriots is that we don't have Tom Brady on our team anymore, okay? We don't have Tom Brady where he can make any average receiver look good, okay? We just don't. So right now, what I think Bill Belichick needs to do is trade N'Keal Harry. Like, that's why I think he should have traded at the beginning of the season instead of trading Stephon Gilmore. Like, I loved having Stephon Gilmore on the team. Like, Stephon Gilmore, he wasn't causing us any issues, and I read that we traded him because he refused to take a pay cut and all that stuff. But at the same time, I think we should have just let him play out his contract in New England, because, really, right now, tonight, we really could have used Stephon Gilmore. Seriously, just no excuses for our pathetic defensive performance. Patriots defense, without a doubt, I think that out of all the games so far in the Patriots season, I think that this game, without a doubt, was the worst Patriots defensive performance I've ever seen, because no other way to say it. We dropped a very crucial game in Foxborough, a game that we should have won, but, our offense, once again, was just absolutely terrible. And my thing is this, if Bill Belichick could do something useful in the draft and or in free agency next year and get Mac Jones to some weapons to throw the ball to, I'd appreciate it, because our defense is good, okay? With Matt Judon, with J.C. Jackson, well, it depends what's going to happen if he's going to re-sign with us in free agency and what's not. I think that Bill Belichick's biggest priority needs to be to get Mac Jones some actual receivers to throw the ball to. Seriously, come on. This is getting ridiculous now, because you look at Mac Jones, yes, he threw 2 interceptions today, but can you really blame him when our receivers can't get open? And, when it seems like they do get open, they end up, I think, dropping the ball. I forgot how many times our receivers dropped the ball today. But still, my main thing about the Patriots offense is that we have no receivers that, can create separation from defenders. So what do you expect Mac Jones to do when our receivers can barely create any separation from our from our opponent's defensive backs, because it seems like that whenever opposing teams play the Patriots, they're able to stop our receivers just like that, while we, for some reason, our receivers just are unable to get open, okay, and be able to move the ball down the field. So that's why I think Bill Belichick should have just traded N'Keal Harry instead, because as far as I'm concerned, because when N'Keal Harry was first drafted by the Patriots almost 3 years ago in 2019, I was actually excited because he was very solid at Arizona. But right now, it looks like that N'Keal Harry has failed to live up to expectations. So I think that at this point, it's safe to say that N'Keal Harry, he's a draft bust, unfortunately. I don't like labeling players as busts, but unfortunately, man, N'Keal Harry has just been playing like a draft bust so far these past 3 seasons for us, So I just think that Bill Belichick should have traded him in the season, okay, when he had some value when he still had some value left. Because right now, I'm just wondering, is there any team that's going to be willing to even give up a 7th round pick for him or something? Because I don't think that's going to be possible. Because if there is a player that was worth giving up a 6th round pick on, it was N'Keal Harry, not Stephon Gilmore. So, yeah, Patriots lost today, sucked. You know, our chance of clinching the AFC is now gonna have to. We're now gonna have to hope that we're now gonna have to be dependent on whether the Bills can lose their next games, just so that the Patriots can regain control in the AFCs. And that's what I don't like, is, you know, having to depend on other teams, you know, to beat our divisional rivals, just so that we can, just so that we can clinch an AFC East title, you know, and a spot in the postseason. So, yeah, that's pretty much it here at the video, man. I just think that, you know, N'Keal Harry, I've watched him play, and so far he can't create any separation from defenders. You know, that's the biggest thing about N'Keal Harry. The biggest downside about him is that he just struggles at creating separation from opposing defenses, and it seems like that opposing defenses can just shut him down just like that, no matter which cornerback plays, you know. So that's no matter which cornerback plays against him, you know. So that's what I'm trying to point out here in this video, ladies and gents. Like, comment, subscribe. And Bill Belichick, can you please, for the love of God, do something useful? Get Mac Jones some weapons and train N'Keal Harry.